Welcome to FSHD Straight Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into living with FSHD. I'm your host, Tim Hollenback, and I'm on the journey with you. Having FSHD, I understand the challenges it brings to patients and their families. We're in this together, and this podcast is a space where we swap stories, share advice, and talk to experts to get the latest news. There's plenty to say about living with FSH muscular dystrophy, so let's get straight to it. Welcome to, this is going to be interesting for me to say for the first time here, FSHD Straight Talk. Used to be the FSHD Society radio show. Now it's still brought to you by the FSHD Society without a doubt. It's backboned by the Society for sure. But the shift has occurred. We alluded to it in previous episodes, and here it is for you. FSHD Straight Talk. What's it about? Well, kind of what the intro says, right? We're trying to bring in people, community, involvement. If it's chapter directors of FSHD Society itself, or if it's those that aren't even involved in FSHD Society necessarily, but are FSHD advocates or other nonprofit organizations that want to talk about it, or patients, family members, etc. We want to hear from you, especially FSHD patients, people with the disease like myself, where you're still living your life as if, I don't want to say as if it's not there, but you're adapting well. What are you doing? How can you influence others? How can you put a positive impact on your world and your corner of it, despite the fact that FSHD is there? Now, for me, most know my story, some don't. I was diagnosed when I was 40. I'm 48 now, and because as day one, I wanted to do something with this disease. Did I want to be loud about it, or did I want to keep it quiet? And many do keep it quiet, and some are loud about it. I clearly chose to go the louder path, telling family, friends where I started within my circles and what this was, but I needed more information. Through Google, of course, I found FSHD Society. I reached out to the society and said, you know what you're missing is a podcast. You have done podcast work. I'd love to talk about that format if you're interested. Jun Kinoshita reached back and mentioned to me that in some, I don't know, meant to be way, they were talking about it in meetings that they wanted one. And lo and behold, I emailed about it. So I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it all lined up. The stars aligned just right. And I did podcasts before. One was called The Rec Room Show, another silly one called Your Alternative Radio. I played some music and so forth. And The Rec Room Show was great. It was very similar to this in a way, where a lot of interview-based discussions with people that were, man, you name it. If they were, self-help gurus, or if they were authors, or athletes or musicians, all types of walks of life. It was almost like a Seinfeld, someone said, of podcasts, where it was about everything and anything, and opinions were definitely wide open, and nothing was really off limits, and no opinion was too bold. In fact, I think that was the tagline. And I had fun doing that. I did it for about 7 years. And we did live radio through it too, and kind of converted it to a podcast, and so it went. And at some point in my life, I shelved it, kind of like a kid going off to college and moving out. Felt like the podcast ran its course. Other things kind of told this tale that it needed to be shut down. But all I did was turn the light off in the studio and kind of let it be. Left the equipment and so forth. Fast forward to when I was diagnosed at 40, FSHD Society says, yeah, we're interested in a podcast. I flip the light back on, dust off the equipment, create a couple intros, and the rest is history. And now we convert again. We change again. Change is what we do. And it's what we do well. We being my FSHD community. We deal with change. Sometimes change is quick. Sometimes it's slow. However, a change happens, most times it can be very unpredictable, like this disease is. So how can you adapt? What are the things that you want to do? What are the things that you think you can't do? Or the things that you know you can't do, you have to say goodbye to, grieve the loss of that, and move on yet anyway. Well, folks, that's what the definition really of courage is, isn't it? Knowing full well that you have to go forward, even though you don't want to, but you do it anyway. I remember hearing that definition of courage on a film I watched when I used to get Sports Illustrated when I was a kid. And there was this football film I got, free when you get the subscription. And it was called it was about defensive players. And I can't even remember the title of it now, but there was a part of it where a football player quoted an airman talking about courage. And he said, courage is, jumping out of that plane, or going into that difficult moment, or knowing this is going to be hard, or knowing it's going to be scary. And you do it anyway. That's courage. And I think everybody does that every day. you're going to be humble and say, no, I don't. I'm just an average person. But the fact that you're watching this show or listening to it, the fact that you're putting this in your life, looking for inspiration from others, that says something about you. It says something that I need to keep bringing this to you. And it says something about our community that wants to connect to bring it to you. I want to be that vessel. I want to be that person to help. But within that, I'm not going to hold back. If I feel like something is odd or something I don't agree with, I'm going to tell you. It's something I love and I wish I could share more and more with you. I'll tell you that too. There's no question. There's other podcasts out there that you want to listen to. Of course, there's no such thing as saturation of podcasts, in my opinion. You got time, you're going to listen to as many as you can. I'm not telling you not to, but I am telling you to listen to this one. And when you do, listen for the positivity. And I'm not talking about Pollyanna positive or gee whiz, everything's fine. It's not fine. It's crappy. It sucks. But how do you go anyway? How do you find the courage to do it anyway? We can sit here and beat up other podcasts about how they berate the FSHD Society or how this and that is a criticism or that's a negative thing. Well, those are called energy vampires. You really don't want them on your energy bus. I'm quoting a little bit of John Gordon there, one of my heroes that I listen to for positivity, but that really is the facts. So if you're going to jump on this bus with me, this bus of FSHD Straight Talk, positivity lives here. Realism lives here. And we're going to bring all the people within the community that have things to share with you to help you through those moments. And I also want to hear from you on it all. I really do. This is something that I don't want you to hold back. I don't want you to not email me. I don't want you to not get in contact with me. That is one of the points of this show. FSHD Radio at fshdsociety.org. That is the email address. You can find it everywhere on the website. If you missed it, didn't write it down fast enough, hit rewind, play it again, do what you got to do, but you got to contact me if you want to be even on the show or know a guest, nominate someone to be on the show. We've had that happen too. We want to turn every stone, find everyone that wants to be on here and bring them to the forefront in this community. That is what is lacking. Just the vessel, the middle point of this communication. People want to have something to say. I want to feed it back out to you, the community, to inspire. That's my goal. And that's what we're going to do. And that's how we're going to convert FSHD Society Radio to FSHD Straight Talk. It gets straight to it. So I'm Tim Hollenback. I'm your host on this journey as we shift and pivot. And on this episode, we got a great set of guests here that are going to bring it to you right off the bat. So let's bring those on. Welcome to FSHD Straight Talk. Still tough for me to say since we've changed the title of the show, but it's still the show that has been that you've loved maybe over the years. We are targeting more and more and the people that have FSHD or the families that are involved with helping those with this terrible disease and maybe making it not so terrible. And how are we living our lives regardless? If it's some adaptions and tricks how we live our life, or we've had people talk about how they physically move a little better and exercises and so forth. Or how do you continue your acting career after fashion and say, you know, I think I'm going to try this, like what Danny Kurtzman has done with his help of Shane, the director of this movie that I think we all are talking about more and more, is Good Bad Things. We've had them on in the past. We had Max Adler talk about it as well, because that's kind of how this connection somehow came about with the FSHD Society. So we welcome in the guys now. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Hi, we're good.
Good. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you guys are here. Last time we talked and before I hit record, we kind of briefly revisited our past conversation about the film, and it was kind of in that state where I think it was still being worked on. There was a writer strike for sure, I think, and there really wasn't much we could say about it. And those things have kind of changed. So where are we at now with Good Bad Things?
You want to go for it?
Yeah, no, last time we spoke, there was a writers and actors strike, and thank God that is all behind us, and they've all made their settling. And now we have moved past that. Good Bad Things will premiere at Slam Dance in January, which happens at the same time as Sundance in Park City. We were accepted in the Unstoppable category at Slam Dance with a bunch of other films. And it went as good as we could have asked for. Landing in Park City, we were, I believe, the first film at Slamdance that sold out. We had like a full house on Saturday for a world premiere where they had to actually turn away people from entering the room to watch the movie because it was at full capacity.
Wow.
The reactions were, exactly what you want from a movie like this, just lots of laughters and then crying in the right moments and laughing in the right moments. And then, yeah, coming out of Slamdance, which was also just a very nice thing, we won the Grand Jury Award and also the Audience Award at Slamdance. We were the only film to
Impressive.
win 2 awards at the festival. And being a first-time filmmaker with Shane and first-time actor with me, it was just a very amazing experience for us to do. Yeah, what else can we catch up on? We brought on an awesome EP. I don't know if we spoke with that last time. Steve Way has joined the team as executive producer. He is part of the family. We love him so much. He's just like exactly what we could have asked for in the EP. What he's done for the disabled community and what he is as a human being, and what he did on the show Rami. He's got a show coming out that he's doing with Judd Apatow called Dystrophia. He's got a special stand-up comedy coming out on HBO. So like he's just
It's
is
killing it.
just a huge addition to the team that we just love so much. Um, yeah, the distribution conversations are going on right now, but we are being patient and in the meanwhile, just riding out the festival journey and experience. So we have Mammoth coming up next weekend that Shane and I will be attending, and we are nominated for 5 awards.
Wow.
Grand Jury Award, Best Director Award, Best Actor Award, Best Screenplay Award, and then also Shane again for Best First Time Director.
Mm.
Yeah, well, and then April we've got I think 5 more festivals or 4 more festivals
Oh
coming
my
up. So
gosh.
yeah, it's just all happening pretty awesome. We
Yeah.
just we did a partnership with another agency called Gamoots, and we just received about 2 hours ago their seal of approval, which we had to go through a thorough process on just the authenticity within the disability world and making sure that we did this film authentically and represented the community to the fullest degree. And we thankfully passed with flying colors. And we are the first multimedia film and television to receive this seal of approval.
Wow.
They've done it with brands like Victoria's Secret, Target, Adidas, um, Tommy Hilfiger,
Mm.
and we are now the first film to receive this.
Wow. That is sounds like you're making history right there.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Danny did a great job. The recap, we're feeling really excited right now, and just happy to have received, I think, enough affirmation that the film is being enjoyed, because anytime you make a piece of art, especially something like this, there's that need for audiences to connect to it. And while this is a story that we know within the disabled community, is kind of like stories like this are severely lacking. Sometimes it also takes that like strong connection, just from maybe just the greater world out there, to see the kind of humanity in it, and to see all the connections that other people will draw from their own experiences, and empathize and just be on this ride with Danny, even if they don't quite understand what his lived experience is. We take them on this journey where I think from so far the feedback we've gotten, people from all walks of life have seen themselves in Danny and have gone on this journey with him and found the relatability of it all. And so yeah, we're just feeling really validated so far, and we're hoping that enough positive feedback comes and reviews where these distributors will give us a shot. So far we haven't, like Danny said, we're in the middle of negotiating some stuff, but we feel like the typical distribution methods aren't necessarily going to be where we make our biggest impact. We have a unique film with a unique marketing capability And our goal is grassroots support. And so organizations like yours, other organizations that realize what this film means to people, our goal before we really decide how to put this film out there will be creating a support system for the film, because we believe it's something that needs to be seen and has the ability to move people, and also can contribute to conversations that are often had but never actually actualized. And so we have something that can impact people in a meaningful way and create lasting change in an industry that talks a lot of talk but doesn't always actually follow through on the things that they say they want to do. This being disability themed films and inclusion and representation. And so we know the film has the ability to impact audiences not anywhere close to just in the disabled community. And so we want to get a shot. We want to wait for a company that's willing to get behind us and believes in the message and also just believes in the film. And that's where we're at. Yeah.
It sounds like you want them to believe in the film as a film, not necessarily the disability factor to it and representing just community alone, but it sounds like be representative of what it is. It's supposed to be a great film created with great story and so forth.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. And I think me and Danny have talked about this. We wouldn't be pushing as hard as we're about to if we didn't see the audience and how they reacted. And I think when you're actually watching a film with a group of people, you can understand the reactions a whole lot better than just sending it to people. Because if you have a link, a lot of times movies need validation for you to be willing to validate them for yourself, because it's not maybe known actors and I'm an unknown director, and all the reasons that you have to maybe think something won't be worth watching are there. And so what our job now is to be able to remove all of those kind of preconceived expectations of why someone wouldn't want to see something, and begin to start changing that conversation around the film in general, which is we need to win awards. We need to get in front of more people. We need to have more data to show that it's been well received, enough times with enough different people. That's kind of like, I think where most independent films, have to sort of fight for attention, because there's everything stacked up against you. And when you have an indie film with no big name movie stars, we have amazing actors, and they're stars in their own right, but there's a certain type of person that currently has value, and it's international value. There's all these conversations, things that we didn't really even think too much about, and it's just all to get to the place where people actually see the movie. You just have to go through a lot of loopholes.
Wow. And did you think it was going to be that difficult, or was that something that you expected to get it out to the public?
I don't know. We just wanted to make a movie. We didn't really now that we actually see maybe there's some potential, that's all happening. But before we were just hey, Danny, you want to make a movie? He's like, yeah. So that was the original, starting point.
I second that. It was not. This wasn't the original plan. I didn't imagine to be coming out of our world premiere at Slam Dance with 2 awards and being 5 nominations in Mammoth, and then we got 5 more awesome festivals in April, and having a Steve Way on the project. It's pretty amazing, for sure.
Yeah,
And to answer your question a little bit, about it just being a film, we just wanted to make a film, and recently we realized it is more than a film. It is a message that we are now able to share that I don't think has been heard, especially with the disability theme. We so much watch disabled content and these disabled stories, and we feel moved, but I feel like in not in a powerful, positive way. It's always a deficit or an inspiration, or we feel like we can't connect because it's so externalized from what our real lives are, and which I believe isn't the truth. We as disabled people are powerful, and we are perfect in our own way. And this is just that story, that it's not a deficit, that that we can do what we put our mind to, and we are that powerful. So we are learning that when people are also receiving that, watching us. It wasn't even our original goal, but it is a new conceptualization of what is disability and how us as a community should empower ourselves, and us as a community should be viewed.
And I find it interesting that you say that you started off thinking we're just going to make a film, and then didn't have a real high expectation of what that maybe mean distributorship and all these things now that you're tackling. Was there though a moment then in creating the film, and this is a question to Shane and to Danny. It's like, because you're both in it, one's doing a lot of the acting, main role, and then you're doing the directing, Shane. So it's like, was there a moment though when you're interacting with them making the film that you went, you know what, that was like a moment, like, I think we're onto something here?
Yeah, 100%. But it was a ongoing moment, right? So I think it was like every week something would happen, and we'd look at the footage from the day before and be like, you know what, like that was pretty fucking good. And then Danny had the scene, where he gave this amazing performance that I had no idea he could do. He maybe had no idea he could do until maybe a couple weeks before, right? Like we started seeing signs that were like, oh wow, this is like actually coming together. Like you go in with high hopes, but you also know, okay, everyone goes in with high hopes, right? But a lot of things can go wrong. And so, I think we were constantly just amazed how the things that were, seemed like they were about to go wrong didn't. And so it was just a mix of, inspiring moments and almost collapse of the project that never collapsed, and everyone's, positivity and excitement. And, we just built a little family, and it got stronger and tighter as we went. And, Danny and Brett Dyer, who's amazing actor, and Jessica Parker Kennedy, who plays I guess I don't want to give anything away, but she's a major integral piece of this film. And the three of them, and then Danny working with each of them individually, just felt so natural. It was really cool to see, because a lot of people can't get there together. Talented actors, even, you see them struggle with the relationships, and so to get these two core relationships with Danny and each of these two really talented and actresses, actors, whatever. I still am new enough where I don't know the terminology, but like to see how he bonded so well and created these authentic relationships on camera is pretty damn impressive. But once again, I didn't even know how impressive that really was until we finished the movie and I started getting more feedback. And so it's all been a learning process. So I think like it's just little by little, right? Like the festival we just went to, we won some awards. Every time we go into this stuff, we're kind of like, oh, well, what if that happened? And then that happens. And then what if that happened? And that happened. So like, the movie had no reason to be good, honestly, going in. Like if you look at our process, like there's no reason it should have been good, and good subjective. But, at this point we're seeing enough people like it that at least some people think it's good, right? And all we ever wanted was like a small percentage. If a couple people think it's good, I feel like that was sort of a win for us, or our early days. And so we just keep pushing and keep finding ways to I guess explore opportunities, and we have some offers, like I said, for distribution, but they don't feel right at the moment. So we're just gonna wait, and we're just gonna keep waiting until we feel like we have explored whatever the best situation is to get the movie out to the most people possible, because as far as we see it, whatever good is happening now isn't going anywhere. If anything, it's just gonna continue to slowly increase, because yeah, we don't have the flashiness around our project, where it's like all that's like it's like all we have is what we've been building, which is momentum and hard work. And so we're not going to lose our foundation of the movie, whereas some people have the big star and they blow it all up because they know that after everyone sees it on that first week, maybe the film isn't resonating with people. And so I think what we have is a much more grassroots, it's a tiny movie, so like our version of success is every other movie's version of like the worst failure they could have ever possibly imagined. So we're already kind of like in a good situation, I guess, because we're there. But we're building this foundation, and we're just going to keep building it until we feel like we have enough support. to put it out there.
Nice. Danny, do you want to comment on that too, or?
I lost track of where we were at. Yeah, no, with the validation thing, it
Yeah.
was like to put it into perspective, like it's not like it's not like it was just Shane and I. Like I went like Shane's with the camera, and it's just him and I, and he's the one that like trusted in me to pull this project off. Like it's a large production, like, and it's indie, but like in Shane's, being modest, it's still like a lot of people trusting and believing without seeing any real proof in a disabled time actor that I can pull this off. Like the train was left the station like already. Like there was no, if I couldn't pull it off, like it sucks. And so like
You could have been
the trust,
horrible.
the trust and the belief from everybody within, like, someone like myself that I could pull it off is what is, I believe, needed in Hollywood with disabled actors and talent. But like, yeah, it was a large, leap in a really amazing, beautiful way that they all did with me, that I think just worked. And I'm not saying it was lucky or whatever. It was all of us having this positive mindset that we are going to make something awesome, created this film. And so it wasn't just me pulling scenes off. It was everyone being like, "You got this. Like, what do you need? Like, how we like." And with that allowed all the scenes and all the story to amplify to what it is now, and it's the continual positive, amazing reaction we're getting. And Shane's again being modest, but it's nonstop. Like, this is such a good movie. So many people at the world premiere came up to me and was like, not just moved, but like in tears.
Yeah.
Because I haven't felt connected to a movie like this, or haven't felt seen in a movie like this. So yeah.
So when take us, I guess, in that moment when um you're settled in with the other people watching, movie starts, the reactions are happening. What's that feeling like to you both?
I'll take this one, Shane. It's 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 a trip, honestly. I don't think I like search my life for validation. That's not something that like I continually seek. Shane and we love the movie, and we know personally we like think it's good. I think it just it's just nice to get that reaction.
Yeah.
Like, it's really nice, and it's nice to be able to create a piece of art that people enjoy and take something from. To be honest with you, um, I just feel like it did make me emotional during the first couple times, just because like. Yeah, it's just it's been a long journey, and not so much just like it's been 20 something years of friendship that's created this thing, and it's just the beginning. And yeah, just emotions, lots of crazy.
What, 25 now, bro?
25, I know.
25.
So,
Wow.
yeah, it's just only the beginning. I've always wanted to create some type of medium that can show this I hopefully not saying unique experience, but just an experience, and we did it, and it came out really well. So um yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. When you talk about Danny, you're not looking for validation, and I don't know if it's necessarily that. I mean, you're in a room where it's coming if you're ready for it or not, right? Good, bad, or otherwise. And I'm sure your expectations were what they were. You're just enjoying the film that you guys created. And I tell the young athletes that I work with, no one sees the work; they only see the result. So, when the people come to the game, they're seeing what you've been working on. It's kind of similar in film, right? You guys have been working your butts off, as you said, Danny, not just the relationship you've had with Shane, but also working through the film for so long, the large crew you had, all the people involved. Not a lot of people see that or really realize it. I know I don't, because I never had to work on a film such as this. And then it all comes to fruition at the end. Here it is. It's the finished product. We're putting it out there. You're kind of vulnerable because this is it. And the fact that it is a positive reaction from people, I'm sure that was maybe partly relieving, right? Like, okay, people are laughing and crying. We maybe thought they would, or maybe we thought they weren't. But either way, it was a great reaction.
Yeah, it felt really like exciting to finish it and not be like, oh no, they hate it. Like that's like
right.
You're going in.
That was a waste of time. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm waiting for someone to pull us aside and be like, yo, dude, like that sucked. Yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. Like at least there's one of you out there. Like, maybe this movie's not for you. Like go watch a Pixar movie. I don't
Yeah, right.
So, like I'm cool with that. Like you have to get some hate, and I'm crazy enough we haven't really got that to that extent yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no validation. Really looking for it. Just it feels good. I'm so very excited for Mammoth next weekend. Going into it, pressure as like a business side is a lot lower. I think that was the biggest deal. Like, this is still a business as much as it's art and passion. And so I feel like that has calmed down a little bit, and now we get to like go into Mammoth and really just enjoy, it a little bit, and yeah, super excited for what's next.
Now, when I was looking around about Good Bad Things, I came across on IMDb. There's a review about the film, and I read it. It was a very positive review. And within that, there was a little bit of a reference and about Danny's, performance. He says that Kurtzman's portrayal is more than a performance; it's a reflection of his own life and triumphs and struggles, which kind of gauged to me, or translating that in my mind, of this wasn't just like a role that you played, Danny. This was yourself.
Yeah. And we wrote it to try and resemble that for sure. Except for one part, I'm not gonna except for a couple parts, I'm not gonna give them away. But hopefully they're coming in my real life. But yeah, for sure. Took our story, Shane's and my story, and my story too, my relationship with my dad, my relationship with, my friends, my career, and also my relationship with myself as a disabled individual, and the struggle that it's not, yes, with the struggle I've had with myself over the last 36 years that I've caused myself. And that's what it is, like truly owning it, and it is, and that like no struggle and experience I've had that has just been caused to me, that I've had no impact on. I've had control over everything my whole entire life, and so on. So like, yeah, I'm really happy that people are picking that up and writing it on IMDb. Hopefully we'll get some more, and it'll roll into Rotten Tomatoes, and we'll get that certified fresh. But yeah, it's just cool that people see that, and we've been hearing it from able-bodied and disabled individuals too, which is just crazy. And yeah.
Yeah, that was written by Chris Jones on that site, and looked like it was off of the Slam Dance 2024 he wrote. So back in January. So people look for that, read that review if you're interested. Yeah, Shane, did you have something that you wanted to kind of piggyback off that?
Yeah, I was gonna say something that was gonna be stupid.
Stupid.
I was gonna say Danny's character in the movie, it's like Danny but a little less grumpy.
Oh.
I have the grumpy one.
Beautiful.
Especially before 2 p.m.
Yeah. Or when you're hungry.
Yes.
You want to tell that last story and then we'll go?
The grumpiness. Yeah, that's how green it was. I don't know if I shared this with anybody. How green it was to show up to the first day of set, and I didn't understand set schedules.
Yeah.
The set schedules are 8 hours, and you get to take a break in the 4 hour, no matter where you start in your thing. So like that's where your eating schedule is. And
Like
so
everyone eats at you run
the 4 hour
halfway through the day, you take a break for lunch, everyone eats together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't understand that on day one. So it's like 2 hours. We started at 10 a.m. 2 hours into it, I'm like, I'm hungry. It's noon. This is when I eat my lunch, and they're like, yeah, there's no more break till 2 p.m. So I was like, I haven't had breakfast. I haven't eaten anything all day. Like, what is going on here? And they're like, yeah, this is how set life is. And I'm like, this is gonna take some learning. So yes,
Danny just got better and better every day working with
Mm.
him, which was really cool. He got better as an actor, better as a producer. Even our friendship. I mean, we've already been best friends forever, but now, if anything, I mean, I didn't know if I could get to know someone better, but yeah, everything about the process was all good, and it's gotten significantly better as it's gone. So that's cool. That's a nice feeling. To know that, coming out of this, a lot of people working together, you can struggle, you can have, fights. I don't feel like working with friends, is always, it's something you have to be cautious with. And I think, the fact that we had such a positive working relationship and it just keeps getting better is pretty special, like aside from the movie, just in anything really.
Yeah. Now, when people want to keep up on the distributorship, how they can find the movie when that time comes and so forth, what's the best spot for them to do that?
We'll come back on the show with you, and then we can tell them, because right now it's hard to say. Or they could follow our Instagram.
Okay.
Check out our website, goodbadthings.com, and then our Instagram's linked to that. I mean, that would be
Perfect.
probably the simplest way. And then, but yeah, we should come back on the show again sometime, and once we have
Absolutely.
that figured out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the perfect idea. I'd love to do that. Love to do that. You guys are fun to talk to, and keep us up to date. Through the Instagram, of course. We'll bring you back on when those moments come. We're excited to launch that as a FSHD Society in the community. It's been talked about quite a bit, and I'm glad you guys could stop in and kind of give us an update of what's going on and help me launch this podcast shift a little bit. That's also helped me selfishly to have two big guests on to start it off. Has been a huge help too.
Congrats, by the way. Yeah, definitely.
In my world, you're a huge guest. Stop it.
But congrats on the new show. I definitely like the pivot that you guys have made.
Thanks.
And I think like this is a need within the community, not to so much talk about continual research and developments, but also just daily quality life and how we live and how we make movies and do cool shit. So because I feel like there's a lot of people in the community that are doing cool shit other than me. Can't wait to hear about them.
Yeah, and if you know any more, Danny, send them my way. We'll get them on the show too. So,
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. You guys take care.
Thank you.
Bye. See ya.